Meet Alora. On the outside, she looks like any ordinary young woman. Sweet as she is, prickly and always smiling. But the truth, she's quite terrified of people. You see, Alora much prefers the company of her books and tea. They quell her depressive mind, her ever-cyclical existential crisis, smiling depression, perpetual anxiety, imaginary dread. Oh, my apologies. Simply put,
I started this channel for us, for you, the maladaptive daydreamer who lives more in books than in small talk, the one who craves community but hides from the noise. Wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Perhaps because it's me too. This cafe is like our depression booker, a portal to cozy reading and chill magical vibes, kind of like a safe haven with prose. Well, for one, this isn't just BookTube. It's a perversion book cafe in an apartment. But still, how cool is that, right? Together, we'll read in chapters, 100 pages at a time. Pause when I do, then come back to the video when you're ready to discuss. Kind of like a book club, but cozier. We'll also write together, laugh together, and sometimes cry together, because you and I both know the way this world is set up. I'm most excited about building community with you guys. Our own little corner of the internet, talking about book boyfriends and what the F moments and fantasy worlds, and just like escaping from reality in our little safe haven when the world feels too heavy. You know? Why do I love reading? What a loaded question. There's so many ways I can answer this, but why do I love reading? Well, for one thing, it's one of the most unique ways to travel without ever leaving your house. You can live in someone else's skin without ever leaving your own body. It's a truly magical experience. And one of the things I like to say is I equate restarting to read a book and just really being engulfed in it is similar to the feeling of falling in love. You know, you start to get that feeling of like, oh wait, this is different. And then you become obsessed with everything and everyone in the book, and you can't get those characters or the world off your mind. Isn't that like similar to when you're falling in love with a person? But most importantly, like, books saved me. Because I write them too. I write them and I read them. Books are my world. Truly are. If books didn't exist, I wouldn't exist, literally. And I feel like they're a medicine. They're a balm. When life feels heavy, you can just escape into a different world and into, the book, and it helps you remove yourself from your trauma and so many other things that are going on. I remember when I was this little girl, 6 years old, I just heard a voice tell me to write and to read, and I've never stopped since. It's truly a passion of mine. I mean, I have thousands of books probably by now. I love walking into a library, a bookstore, anywhere with books, old, new, in between, and literally I can feel my pressure coming down, my heart rate slowing. It just truly is my world. For me, the books that started me reading were Matilda, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Madeline, and many others, of course. I was hooked from the moment Matilda first walked into the library. The Fantastic Mr. Fox stole his first hen, and Madeline introduced me to that old house in Paris covered in vines where 12 little girls lived in 2 straight lines. Some of my childhood books managed to survive childhood. I saved only a handful, and I remember clear as day the moment I first read some of them, especially Matilda and Madeline. I think I was homesick from school for when I first read Matilda, and my mom stopped by the library because I grew up on Roosevelt Island, that little tiny island. So she stopped by the original little library on the island, and before it was New York Public Library. And she picked me up a stack of books. God bless my mom. She's a reader too, and that's where I get it from. And she brought me home a stack of books to read, and I remember just getting lost into the world of Matilda and that feeling. Man, sometimes I miss like that feeling of being a kid and discovering books and reading books, because when you're a kid and you read books, it's a completely different experience because your imagination, I feel, is not jaded by adulthood. Y'all know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's my origin story, y'all. That's my origin story. From the moment I first learned how, everywhere. What kind of books do I like? I like books of all genres. Let me get that out of the way first. However, there's always a however, I'd notice I gravitate towards those books that mix the magical with the real, magic realism with it, when the magic exists just beneath the surface of the world. And I like to feel that I can walk out my door and encounter the characters from the book, because even though it's like has some magical paranormal elements, there's still some grounding. When I do read fantasy, I notice I prefer contemporary fantasy. I still will read high fantasy if it focuses more on the characters, but like Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, that kind. But I do prefer grounded fantasy. I actually think that's the new trend. That's where we're going. But anyway, I prefer grounded fantasy, and most importantly, romance. It does not have to be the main plot of the book, but I noticed that there has to be romance in a book for me to read it, or I will lose interest. Of course, there are exceptions to the rules, of course, because I've read plenty of books that I absolutely loved that had no romance in it. But generally, if there's no romance in a book, I will lose interest. And I need to be wrapped in the first 5 to 10 pages, because I'm huge on voice. I am huge on voice, especially if it's multi-POV. And if I am not, you don't get me in the first 5 to 10 pages, I'm closing your book. And I think that also the way I am influences the way I write, because I always make sure I open with a strong open that will, even if it's like nothing like blowing up or whatever, that will catch the reader's attention. But I digress. I love books of all genres. I'm a very romance-coded reader, and I like to feel like I love when the author develops their world so deeply, even if there's no magic in it, that I feel like I can encounter the characters when I walk out my door. But I do prefer some magic under the surface. Yeah, that's my jam. What would I ask my favorite booktubers? Let's see. How do you do it? How do you do it and still work full time and have a life? No. Seriously though, I think more like the technical aspects of this, because I love building community. I love talking to you, friend. However, I cannot stand the part of production when it comes to like figuring out lighting, framing. I'm fine with that because I shoot photography, so that can be fun when I find a really nice framing and shot. But like the lighting part, I really don't like scripting. And like just setting up, I hate all that shit. I have to editing. I really don't like it. I know your friend. I know you're like, well, girl, then why are you doing this? When I'm in a groove of editing, I, it's fun. But yeah, I would ask my favorite booktubers, like, how do you do this? How do you keep this up and be consistent and still have a life? I'm excited for the journey of doing it, but it's just like, give me some tips and tricks, girl. Give me some tips and tricks. But yeah, that's what I would ask them. What does my collection look like? What does my collection look like? I think it's better if I show you. And mind you, this is not even a quarter of it. I have hundreds of books under my bed because it is a dream one day of mine to have a custom bookshelf built that can fit all my books. But I'm just going to show you what I can. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so this is what I have in the shelving cart. These are more newer books that I thrifted. Oh, sorry. These are more newer books that I thrifted. Let's get that out the way. These are more of like the fantasy commercial books that I have. This shelf rotates. And I don't really want to rotate it because it's kind of in the corner against that wall. But I know your friend, I know you're like, well, I can't really see any of the books. Bitch. I just don't want to rotate it because I don't want them to all start falling off the shelf, because this shelf is like, because I had to put it in this corner. And then over here, we have more of the nonfiction, literary. We have Bell Hooks, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Henry Miller. Ooh, don't look at that. Sylvia Plath. These are some of like the older paperbacks that I inherited. Like this was like an old literary journal that used to cost $1, and like chapbook, I guess, something like that. Jack Kerouac would contribute to it. John Paul Sartre, William S. Burroughs, some of the beat poets, Allen Ginsberg. I have a lot of books like this. I inherited them from a boomer. I'm sorry, boomers have some good stuff. More Sartre. This is my absolute favorite photographer in the world. I've been slowly collecting her books, Sophie Calais. An ex-boyfriend of mine got me a signed program from her very first exhibition, so that was a really great Christmas gift. I have a lot of my writing books here. More Sophie Calais. This is one of my favorite books for her. And this one too. Her books are expensive. They're like $100 each, because a lot of them are out of print. I cannot wait to read this with you guys on one of our read-alongs. This is a unique book that I inherited by the author of Like Water for Chocolate, and it's called The Law of Love, and it has art in it. It has, let's take a look. It has art in it. It has like a CD in the back that you're supposed to see. It's like graphic novel plus text plus, and it has a CD you're supposed to listen to while you read it. Like this came out like in the 90s or something like that. So that was a cool inheritance that I got. Yeah, so, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. And then this is my main bookshelf. There, mind you, there are books behind books. So there are books behind Twilight. I think it goes in 3 rows. This is like an old bookshelf that IKEA used to make because they don't make anymore. So I'm keeping it because it could fit records too. And mind you, these are layers. Layers. And I have my DVDs in here too. Yeah, see? And it keeps going, and there's more shelves on the bottom, and I have hundreds of books under my bed. So, mon ami, thank you for hanging out at Alora's with me. Grab yourself a latte, pick a book, and let's start reading together. See you in the next chapter.
As you can see, Alora reads everywhere, but always with tea, and always with too many books at once.